What are you doing?
Beeson?
Oh my gosh.
Well, it's a members only stream, so I'm having some edibles and some pizza and deleting all the mods.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Hello everyone, I'm Steve. Mark's around. Say hi, Mark.
Hey everybody!
And this is Smokey, Steve, and Mark. Either welcome or welcome back, and happy Saturday. It is the weekend, so you know what that means. This is that bougie instant coffee. I can't remember the name. And it's some actual heavy cream. We were cleaning out the fridge. So, very indulgent, very tasty. So I hope everyone is well. I hope everyone is safe. Look after yourselves. Things are opening up here. It is Memorial Day weekend here in the States. I have a 3-day weekend. Mark has a 3-day weekend. We'll probably get 1/3 of what we usually get done in a normal weekend because you think you have all the time in the world. So, if you're celebrating, celebrate safely, please. So, we are going to sort of pick up where we left off with our fair lady, Chantal Marie, Foodie Beauty, the big beautiful me, the daily Chantopolis, Chantal show, and it's Foodie Beauty again. So, as we've been doing for the last few weeks, we're kind of gearing the videos around a topic and then pulling things out of the week's timeline. Why? Because there is more footage of her on YouTube than... she spends more time on YouTube than off, pretty much at this point. The content this week pretty much centered around her playing, push me, pull you, come here, go away, with Dom, dude, whatever the guy's name is. Okay, she's playing 50 Shades of Grey with this guy, and it's not cute. For 1,000 reasons, it's not cute. So that was pretty much what was going on this week. So we'll go into, like I said, a little bit of that. There was a lot of back and forth in that relationship, from it's not going to work to I want to marry him and have his kids. So, you know what I mean. So last week we talked about whether Chantal was a femme fatale or a doormat. Where was her power in this relationship? Where was she within the situation? Was she in control? Was she the one getting what she wanted out of everything and all her needs were being met? Or was she just doing whatever this guy wanted, paying for drugs, being just an easy lay? Like, was she not getting what she wanted for the most part and just pleasing him? And pleasing him pleased her. So that was financially, sexually, like in those ways was she being used in a way that she didn't like, but she shut up about because she wanted the company. That was kind of where we tossed back and forth, and there was a bunch of we didn't really come to any conclusions, at least I didn't, but it was a good discussion in the comment section. So for this week we're going to kind of go in order a little bit, but what I wanted to focus on was Chantal's, we'll call them coping skills to be nice. One could call them rationalizations, distorted thoughts, exaggerations, what have you. But there's different things that came up this week that would be emotional for most people, but that Chantal kind of softens the blow. We talked about her having issues with maybe substance use. That's one of the ways that we talked about in depth, about how she may soften the blow for some unpleasant feelings. But she has a lot of other behaviors that don't have anything to do with addiction necessarily. So we're going to pull on a couple of those. Okay? So, where we had left off was the video Beezers Unite. Now, this had happened, I believe, the weekend after. It was a couple days that she was at this gentleman's place, playing Parcheesi and doing the rosary. So, like any live video, these were all lives this week. There was 1 or 2 promises of film videos. Nothing. We're not going to see it anytime soon, I don't think. And who could blame her? If this is working, why would she? So she comes back after spending the weekend with dude. And the weekend was so nice. I think it's official. She took him to Farm Boy, get food. I guess they were seen in public. That cements it. She is doing the sniff. Now, I'm not talking, I'm just saying. Because it's a lot. Now, either it's allergy season. It could be allergy season. It could be any number of things. But is it fair to maybe go when she's disclosed? Maybe. Is it any of my business? It's on YouTube, on a non-restricted video that anybody can watch. There's comments sections and things like that. So, She ordered some more lingerie because at this point we were still going to move in and make a gentleman out of him or something. Um, she ordered $110 worth of Thai food as well. This was after this weekend thing. She was talking about his magic tricks. I guess he does magic. Where the did she meet these guys? And she said, yes, they are exclusive. Put a pin in this. Yes, they are exclusive. Well, at least on her end. Okay. Her word about exclusivity didn't mean much to some other gentleman she was with. So I don't know. Pete's joins, zoom, and he doesn't really have a whole lot to say. He's pretty quiet. So into the next video, let's talk about love. She's beezin'. She's baked out of her mind. I have funny sex stories, but I'm not going to tell them to you right now. There's a few of these that go on this week. I have something going on, but I can't tell you. I have some stories, but I can't say. There's a lot you guys don't know. We have a lot of history off YouTube. How can you in 6 weeks? 5 weeks? Nobody can have a lot of history off YouTube in 5 weeks. Or anywhere in 5 weeks. There's only so many, 35, you can only cram so much into that many days. It may feel like an eternity. When I was in rehab, you get to know people really, really quick. It's like a pressure cooker. And you're in the infatuation stage of all these friendships. You feel like you know everyone so well, and when you leave, you're going to get sober together, and we'll all get a big house, and we'll put on a show in the barn, and it seems like such tight-knit stuff, because you're in this pressure cooker of getting to know everyone really quickly, really deeply, really fast. The shine wears off of that, though. It does. It doesn't stay that interesting that long, because that's not how adult relationships work. Friends, relationships, otherwise. You know, you don't stay so giddy that you can't function as an adult without the other person present. So, the edibles. 235 milligrams. Okay, I mentioned this last week. I don't know as my edibles were chocolate chips. We have the CBD ones. They're sometimes helpful for some different things. They're like 25 milligrams, I think. But that's, I think, a therapeutic dose for THC, and she's taking a recreational dose, which, like I said, I guess could be as high as you want. But somebody had mentioned in the comments, she's just probably putting herself to sleep with that amount. And if she uses the word tolerance and it's getting higher, well, how high do we go? Price is Right? Do we hear, 500? Do we hear 1,000? Do we hear edibles aren't doing it for me? Let's up the ante. Things, it's little by slow. It's little by slow that stuff happens. Another thing, as far as coping, and we talked about, substance use. When she's home and not at his place, I didn't count the exact number of nights, but it seems like more often than not when she's home alone, Pizza's there, but he's practically a silent partner in this lease agreement, I think, at this point. She's beezing. She's high. She's home, eating, maybe not eating. She's eating more lately. The Ozempic is out of the picture at the moment. Should be coming back in shortly, allegedly. And she's just home. Just home by herself, high. With her, it's so weird. Like, do you use alone? Well, I guess if you're live streaming, you're not using alone. But let's not, is that a rationalization? I'm coping by hanging out with my friends and having a few edibles. I know you guys are watching, but this is not the same. If I was sitting here getting loaded and saying I'm having cocktails with friends, that's very, very different. It's very, very different than if I was actually out with friends doing something. But again, that's between her and herself. She knows whether or not she's full of shit. There is something called denial, but I would like to think she knows whether or not she's full of shit, and if she's using these recreationally to enjoy herself or to escape some thoughts or feelings she doesn't want to deal with. So, but then when she goes to Guy's house, they use also. Maybe to relax, to feel like they can enhance sex with it, whatever they want to do. So it's almost like every single solitary day, something's coming up. Now, it doesn't seem to be interrupting her work, because there seems to be plenty of people that'll come and watch her with her hamburger eyes, stare at the screen with a wig on, and talk about anything, nothing, doesn't seem to matter. So her channel's not suffering for it. But is she? Maybe? I don't know. Trainwreck appeal is a real thing. It's a very real thing, so I don't know. she said when you start to have feelings for someone, the more time you want to spend with them. Now, this is true. And I remember being in the infatuation states of a relationship when I was 18, where I really wanted to see a guy, and I was living in Philadelphia, and he lived about an hour away, and I drove to his work and showed up. And it wasn't bad, but it wasn't this romantic, huge, appreciated thing I did, because he had plans that night, because we lived an hour apart. So I showed up and expected moonlight and roses, and he was like, oh, hi, what are you doing here? And that's the kind of situation where I think if she was in it, she would feel hurt that it wasn't more appreciated that she just volunteered to show up. Now, that was my 18-year-old mind, and this is her 37, 38-year-old mind. So, we're all in different places. We're all on our own journey, but I think she plays games and then gets mad when games get played with her, too. I thought she was being outmaneuvered here, and I still think she is. So, you miss people when they're not around. So you maybe do things like you call them or you text them, and maybe you text twice, but you don't go drive to their house and prowl around their windows and see who's in the bedroom. That's not something you do when you miss people. That's a little bit too far. Okay, so just saying. And then skip ahead a little bit. Someone asked in the chat, is Pete's okay with this guy coming over? And she said Pete said yes, but kind of a yeah, whatever kind of yes. It's no. No, he's not comfortable with it. She just needed to hear yes so she can come back at him and say, you said yes. Of course he's not comfortable, and she knows he's not comfortable, but as long as she hears a yes, she's going to roll with it. Don't shit where you eat. I mean, you have a roommate. And the roommate's your ex-boyfriend. It's so awkward. Just, you're a woman of means, get a room. There's got to be dirty, filthy hotel rooms somewhere in Ottawa. Try the airport. They're usually cheap there. Yeah. Pete's a nice guy, and at this point, he seems like he's just along for the ride anyway. So, next video, what the heck? She was up at the crack of 3 p.m. She doesn't remember the night before's video going upstairs, because she was beezing pretty hard. Okay, now how are we coping with things we say when we're high? We say we were high when we said them and that we don't remember. So we're taking accountability out of the picture here and saying, well, I don't know, I was high. I was beezing. I don't remember what I said. Did I say that? Giggle, giggle. I don't remember. So the responsibility for being accountable for what we say gets blown away because, well, I was high. I don't remember what I said. Can we forget about the things I said when I was drunk? Well, it's easy for the person who was drunk or high to do that because we've already forgotten. But everybody else who was within earshot who wasn't laced may not have forgotten. Does she have any plans today? She's going to call dude, and she got no answer. First thing tomorrow, she's refilling the Ozempic. So she's been off the Ozempic, which explains why she probably had some binges, like this McDonald's binge she had the night before. And let's not tread over the word binges here. This is enough food for 3 people. 2 apple pies, a McFlurry, a Filet-O-Fish meal large, 2 bacon double cheeseburgers. And she's 352 pounds. Okay. I think she was losing some weight with the Ozempic. She had a scale that had the audio on it. People say things. Maybe it's fake. I don't know. She looks like she lost a little bit of weight. But putting away a meal like that, you're not going to keep it off. It's not going to stay off. Human bodies don't all work so differently. We're all a little bit different, but when you eat a lot of food, you get big. Yeah. Mark, help me out here.
I agree totally.
I mean, I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a doctor, but one of the singular, things that happen to a lot of fat people is that they eat a lot. Generally.
Yeah.
That tends to be it. Eating less tends to make people thinner.
Yeah. Definitely.
Often. These are not hard and fast rules, but it tends to go that way. Like when I eat less, I'm not as fat as I was when I was fat. I don't know how else to frame that. There's specifics, of course, and there's diet, and there's allergies, and there's things that bodies are allergic to, and there's sugar, and there's diabetes, and there's health conditions, and there's polycystic ovarian syndrome, and there's all sorts of other complications that can come with it. But let's not make ourselves so special that it is absolutely impossible for us to lose weight. Everyone else can lose weight, but I can't, but I can, but I can't, but I can't, but I can't. Is it possible 1/3 of the population is so damn special that they can't? I'm not excluding myself from this. I'm saying we rationalize too. Sometimes. So, at any rate, next, get ready with me, bees. She's got a face mask on, and her hair looks wild. Like, sort of Edward Scissorhandsy, someone said in the chat, and it was right.
Like nuts.
Yeah,
nuts,
her hair was,
crazy.
like, out to here. And bless her heart, she has very thin hair, so it had a lot of product in it, and it was all over the place. Still like the dark color. I'm still very happy she's wearing the dark color hair. She had to change her laundry. She starts putting on makeup, which she does well. She has to cream her body. God. And she said her and Dom were having a bath that night. Zoom, zoom. She changed into the good dress, what is now the good dress, which is the white dress with the flower print and the flowy bottom. That has replaced skater dress, which looks more comfortable, but is more casual, I think, given the material that it is. She looks great. She's making jokes about nose candy, and she jokes, yuck, yuck, how else do you think I got so thin? Well, it wasn't the Ozempic, because we stopped it, and it certainly wasn't the Grand Slam dinner of 2 bacon cheeseburgers and the filet of fish meal. So, I don't know. I'm not talking, I'm just saying, you know? Whatever. And then she takes her blood sugar, who knows what the hell it was. So, next. It's over, I'm moving on. So this was the bigger part. This was the bigger part of the week, where the first, I'm moving on. And it's not clickbait yet. It's clickbait later, because she gets back with him, and then gets over, and then gets back, and then wants to elope, and then hates him, and then he's not respectful to her, and then he is respectful to her, and it's so stupid. It is so stupid. There is such, if you're just looking for a piece, there is so many better pieces of ass out there, men, who don't come with all this crap. They don't come with all of it. This is a choice. This kind of drama is a choice. Anybody can get laid. Anybody can get laid. This kind of drama is a choice. It can be walked away from. It can be. So, moving on, it's over. I'm not going into detail. Give her a few edibles. In 2 hours, she goes into full detail. It wasn't a good night. She takes a breath. But I'm definitely craving cheese today. Well, we comfort ourselves. We comfort ourselves with food. That's what we do. Some of us do. A lot of us do. Some of us comfort ourselves with it so often that we gain 30 pounds back during COVID. Me. And some of us are able to spread out our coping in different ways. We burn off our stress. We write it off. We talk to others. We take up exercise. We have a hobby. We do other different things. And some of us have, are acutely emotional, and when they flare up, we don't reach for the healthiest thing all the time. Sometimes it's 50-50. Sometimes it's always healthy. There's folks who are wrapped real tight and real self-aware. And then sometimes some of us fall down the abyss and think, if I finish this rotisserie chicken, I know by the end I'll feel better. And then you're always disappointed at the end, and then you're guilty because you ate a whole goddamn chicken. But she didn't want to talk crap on Dom because she wanted to respect his privacy, because he's not a bad person. I don't like anything she said about him. I'll be that friend who, when she breaks up, will talk shit about him, and then when she gets back, she'll be like, well, you didn't like him anyway. I'll be like, no, I still don't like him. I still don't like him. Maybe we're not friends, but I still don't like him. If it's just to have sex and it's safe, fine. But don't invest one shred of your heart into this guy. Because he's not. I can tell he's not. I can tell. Guys are guys. Doesn't matter who they're fucking. Guys are guys, okay? She said they did have fun, but she had some problems, and she felt disrespected in a way that made her uncomfortable and gave her a bad vibe. I'm almost 40. I'm not settling. I deserve better. Now, there's always the question, again, this is our grain of salt sidebar. We're going by Chantal's version of events, okay? So we're assuming that what she's saying is true, but we all understand that there's details that could be exaggerated. The who got sick of who dumped who disrespected who could be flipped or reversed. Okay, so we're just taking this with a grain of salt, that her stories sometimes are a little exaggerated, too. She's not going to say what he did, but she said he didn't beat her, he didn't, do anything like that. Some things that bothered me that he didn't like. And then she says, technically we were never official. Now, were you listening like 5 minutes ago? This is called minimizing. Technically we were never official. 2 days ago, they were exclusive, according to her. Now they were never official. Or exclusive. Nothing. making it seem like it was never a big deal to her in the first place, when it obviously was. But she's trying to, I think, talk herself down and also save face a little bit, too, because she was so over the moon, so publicly. And then when things looked like they got cold water put on them, I think she wanted to save face a little and be like, well, we were never that serious. So she doesn't look like a lovesick fool, you know. And love makes people do stupid things, but infatuation makes them do even dumber things. And I feel like she's like a lovesick teenager with all the recklessness and that goes with that, you know. So now she's a single beezer. Good for her. She said it wasn't that serious, the relationship. I always peek in the windows of people I'm not that serious with. I get it. Emotions take hold and they hijack your mind. However, okay. So here's the thing that happened. She went over to Dude's place. I just keep calling him Dude. He wasn't kissy and cuddly with her. Okay. Now she likes that stuff. I guess he kissed her when she got there. And they're laying down, and he's not kissing her, and he's not cuddling her, and that's the kind of stuff that she likes. So then they go to bed. And she has her back to him, because she's playing games, because she's mad at him. So she has her back to him. And he's catching on a little bit, I guess, to this. And he says to her, well, do you want to cuddle? So she thinks he's playing games with her. They're both playing games with each other, and she's trying to act like he's manipulating her. She's doing the same thing to him. She's playing games to see if he cares. She's baiting him to see if he'll take the bait, to see if she's more important than whatever. So when he says cuddle, she rolls over, and he's got the Great Pyramid out. So she felt offended, she said, and that wasn't cool, because it was not what she wanted. And then she said she was leaving, and she left, and he didn't chase her. He was supposed to try to fight her for her. Apparently. He's supposed to beg her to stay and fight for her and want her to be there. She was playing games the whole time. Fight for me to stay. Make me believe it. And then she said, I know I can walk away now because I've done it before. No, you didn't. You went back was it 36 hours? That's not walking away. That's a tantrum. That's a tantrum. That's not walking away. That's going right back. That's going right back. So in painting this guy as kind of a douchebag, and I kind of think he is, it was kind of not playing the victim, but this story either happened, she was upset, and she forgave the whole thing, which means she's not as strong with her boundaries as she says, or it was exaggerated and made up because she completely forgave it later when it came up. He probably talked his way out of it because, you know. Next, getting ready to go to Farm Boy. Boring. She goes with Pete's. They go to the supermarket. There's a couple full body shots. Again, I think she looks a little bit thinner. But not 50 pounds thinner. I don't know. Want to hang out? She's got the edibles. She said she can't stay away. Another way to kind of cope is to get people to co-sign your bullshit. Now, in her chats, when she has the members only, it's only people usually that like her and a handful of trolls that are willing to pay. So it's constantly people who are usually doing ass pats. The only person who steps in that I've seen that she acknowledges who doesn't care for, especially the edibles and the volume and her frequency of using it, is Karate Joe, who's like her YouTube husband. Kind of judgmental. She's demodded him before. There was like a big meltdown when that happened, and she demodded everybody after that, and then basically put everybody back in their place, even Joe. But having co-signers, people that will tell you all your behavior that some people don't like is acceptable, is right, is fine, just people to help you bag the bullshit and carry it, you know. And if you look hard enough, if any of us look hard enough, we can find somebody that will give the okay to our lousy behaviors, you know. I found every single one of them when I was using, but you can find them for a lot of stuff. All sorts of different behaviors. Speak out. Use your voice. Expose him. He's not a good guy. Go back to him. It must be love. You know, you wouldn't be fighting this hard if you didn't have real feelings. You know, I'm sure when you're alone, he's a sweetheart. Apparently he's not. Apparently he'll roll over with his junk out. You know, and rather than say, let's cuddle and spend time together, he'll say, get to work or get out. That could be hot. Now, let me just paraphrase that, too. The nature of their sexual relationship, however it may go, is their business. But this didn't sound like it had anything to do with the nature of their sexual relationship. This sounded like a power move by one or the other, and it didn't go well. But again, seems to have been forgiven. It was let go. So I need another gummy. My tolerance is really high. Again, we're home now with her co-signers, and she's having another edible. She said she had a great talk with BB, who is her ex, who she was with 8 years, and then broke up with right before she moved in with Pete's, who was another ex of 8 years. She said a great talk with BB about the direction of her channel. She wants to be more positive in a lot of ways, but she said she feels that is so fucking fake because life is life. Okay, now we are kind of generalizing a little bit. Mark, I'll use us, Mark and I. We have a relatively positive channel. We discuss some relatively serious, heavy topics, and we've discussed some pretty personal stuff too. As far as light, positive stuff, we've talked about some pretty uncomfortable life-on-life terms thing. I've showed you my mugshot. I've been in jail 3 times. Mark has a history with heroin addiction. You know, we've talked about death. We've talked about poor choices we've made. It's a matter, I think, of presenting it to people with, you know, honesty. It's the truth. For most people, the truth about us is not as bad as we imagine it to be. You know, most people have, if we let all of our skeletons out of the closet, we'd look at everybody else's and be like, mine aren't as bad as this one or as this one. Not that it's a comparison, but most of us aren't as bad as we imagine when we tell the truth about ourselves. She can still live her life on life's terms and whatever it looks like, and still go back and forth with Dom and do whatever she wants to do, and just say, guys, this is my life, this is my choices, I'm documenting it, thank you for being along for the ride with it. You know, there's going to be trolls, there's going to be people who hate because it's YouTube, but thank you guys for being here to watch me make my decisions and carry on through my sordid life. And thank you for all your concerns and your prayers. They're probably keeping me alive. So there's different ways to go about it. We're a relatively positive channel, but we've talked about drunk driving and you know, sexual assault and all sorts of other things. It's approach, I think, that does it. So, zoom. BB had said if she does anything positive to film it, but then she said she feels the pressure to be almost perfect. No, you don't have to be perfect. Next, Beeson. We're still Beeson. More edibles. She said she's not ordering any food, period. She can't remember everything she ate. She went to Farm Boy. This is eat, be high, talk to people who adore you, snap back at any feedback, and then sick the chat mob on them. This has been this is kind of how it's going. Like every other video, there's usually maybe like 3 interesting things that happen in each hour and a half, 2.5 hour video. And then it's dead air of saying hello, answering questions, talking about Dom. Do I like him? Do I not? What should I do? It's not as interesting, you know. I mean, because it's all around a single topic. I mean, not that I want her to have a dramatic, chaotic life, but I'd like to hear about something else. Anything else. I mean, she took her blood sugar, and I was like, well, that's something. You know, it was in the 7s. I'm like, it's something different. She prefers to eat once a day, rather because she likes to eat a lot in one sitting. Me too. I do OMAD generally, except for that bite of pizza. I eat 1 meal a day. It's like 24-hour intermittent fasting. I love it. I'm an old binger. It was one of my old go-tos for the eating disorder arsenal, and I like eating a lot in one sitting. So what I end up doing is planning to eat a lot in one sitting. It's hard to balance nutrients that way to get in fresh food, vegetables, lean protein, and all that kind of stuff, but it can be done. It can be done. With a calorie limit, you know, it's not a free-for-all, but then Farm Boy, Beeson, she takes Pete's out. He gets $270 worth of comics. Collector's no price. Again, Body Shot. Looks like she lost a little weight. Ahoy, Night Beeson. Okay, she's in a wig. She's in a wig. Not a bad wig. It kind of matches the leopard top she's wearing. She had disappeared for a while. She was not on camera for a while. It was a period of time. And people disappear. They assume the worst. Maybe I just wanted some privacy. Privacy. Her channel is the opposite of privacy. when you leave the camera on to go take a dump and then come back and then say that you want privacy and okay, okay, okay. But when someone engages in high risk behavior and disappears for a period of time, people worry. People worry. Her fans worry. Haters don't worry. Haters know she'll be back because it's all for drama. Her fans are actually along for the ride with this and think there's real reason to be concerned. I mean, I have half and half reasons to be concerned myself. I care about how she's doing, but I also think that she's a little dramatic too. So, but her actual concerned supporters, when they say we missed you, we were worried, they do miss her. They are worried, and they are the bread and butter of her channel too. So, every so often she'll get really pissed off at the room. That's another way of coping she didn't do this week, but she does. Delete all the mods. Block everybody en masse. I remember the one time she was going out and she was telling, you're jealous that I lost weight. It sounds like you're jealous of my life. I'm turning everything around. Da 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 da. Square that with this week, where we're home in a lovely black skull cap. By the way, Chantal, you look great in it. Going for a beef and cheddar and meeting randos in the parking lot who, it's so weird. They just happen to be at Arby's at the same time. It's so weird. So again, on Beezing night, she's eating edibles like gumdrops. And apparently dude called her at like 4 o'clock in the morning. He called her. Okay. Allegedly. She called him back when she woke up. And they had a good talk. He said that she doesn't know what she wants. And she said he misunderstands what I say. And that she says she's not an easy person to be in a relationship with. Well, big news, tear out the front page. Yeah, she's probably not easy to be in a relationship with. Though the last 2 she held on to for 8 years. So, easy? I don't know. But she found at least 2 guys that are willing to accommodate her at least for a long period of time. So, she's not like, she could find a guy for the long term. Apparently. She has a track record of it. Doesn't want a relationship. So, guy says he has a headache after she calls him. Headache. Probably meaning he doesn't want her to come over. She offered to go over and take care of him, and he said yes. And she went over, and they had ruckus sex, apparently. Ripped panties, the whole nine. And then she says here, I know I can walk away. It's okay if I go back and we're friends with benefits. I know I can walk away because I've done it before. Honey, you're back. You don't walk away. Walk away means you're still away. This is back. This is suckered back in. You know what I mean? So, how's she coping? Denial. You didn't walk away. You can tell yourself whatever you want. You didn't walk away. If you do choose to walk away, stay away. Stay away. I don't even know Chantal in real life, but just from watching her videos, she could do so much better than this guy. Yeah, anyone can do better than someone who doesn't respect them. I mean, really? She's still arguing with Karate Joe about seeing this guy and about the edibles. He doesn't like those. So again, when she was talking about being disrespected before with him, kaboom, with his member, and she just wanted to cuddle. So either she forgave him disrespecting her, she never felt disrespected at the time and she was exaggerating just for the sake of the story, or she just decided, But if they had a kind of a free, frivolous, she just was talking about sex in the morning, and it's 4 a.m. and he rolls over with I don't know. Zoom. I need to lose 10 pounds this month. This is within the same video. She chews and she stares. Most of the video she chews and she stares. How is she coping? Is she using this guy to get through some difficult feelings? And when I'm saying coping, I'm saying getting through difficult feelings by all these not so healthy ways. Exactly. I use coping in jest. By this guy. I don't have a life, so I'll have yours. What are you doing? I'll hang out with you. I'll do whatever you're doing. I'll spend half my week there. Pete's isn't her boyfriend. Pete's isn't her husband. But Pete's doesn't have any other friends. I don't think. And Pete's is in the house alone like 3-4 days a week now. Now, she doesn't owe him companionship. She's an adult and she's allowed, of course, to have a life of her own, doing whatever she likes. But I don't know. I like Pete's. I like Pete's. I don't want Pete's to. I mean, at least the cats are there. At least someone's there to play with the cats, and Pete seems to like them. But I don't know. So again, the kind of codependent way to cope. I don't have a life, I'll have yours. What are you doing? I don't have any goals or ambitions yet. And she fights back and forth between saying I need to take a year and do me and take care of myself. And that all sounds very touching and very good on paper, but it doesn't materialize. It doesn't show up. Um, if the weight starts coming off a little bit, and that's not the only measure, if she starts looking happier a little bit, if she finds herself in a different kind of relationship where she's not only respected, but they're doing it to her really good. I mean, you can have it both ways. You can get laid really well and still be respected as a human being. It's out there. It's out there. Ottawa's big. It's out there. So she's like, I get this funny feeling when I'm with him, not because I'm afraid of him, but because I'm afraid of being in love with him. She was so stoned when she said it, I was like, is that deep or dumb? I couldn't put it together. Next, she goes for a beef and cheddar. She's wearing an awesome black skull cap. I see you. I love it. And she looks fantastic. Fuck any comments about it snowing indoors. So she needs to get some hair fibers and pick up some prescriptions. I just want to cry. There's stuff going on I can't talk to you about. This is, classic YouTube. I just want to be home. I have the blues. Then we start talking about her psychiatrist not getting the appropriate prescriptions, her being out of antidepressants, and scripts not being sent. So this comes in as kind of a complaint underneath her having the blues. So now we are blaming and deflecting our mood partially onto poor psychiatric care because they weren't doing their part in contributing to me not being out of the blues. It's just one way to point it. Also, a beef and cheddar is a great distraction from a bad mood. I'm not saying it's not. And a sandwich on its own is neither good, bad, evil, sainted, blessed, or anything. It's just a sandwich. Unfortunately, she didn't like it. So there was that. She's still back and forth on dude. And then some random too close for comfort woman who I guess she knew sort of. When she was going to see Dom one time, came up to the window. Very weird. It's always weird when people who know Chantal meet her, like Frank, and they always have these like really sketchy eyes, like they're starstruck and they trip over their words. I would meet Chantal. Sure, and I'd probably be a little agoo just because I've watched her for so long. It'd be interesting to meet her in person. But I mean, she's not like Madonna. I wouldn't be like, oh. I don't know. So, again, she's calling, no answer from Dom, and then when she gets an answer from Dom, she puts herself into a bunch of makeup and then goes. So what have we wrought? Well, there's a lot of different ways, Chantal, and it's a lesson to everybody. Myself, mostly. Let me say me, Steve. I should get a lesson out of it. It's my video. I should have learned something, not you. Different ways to cope with uncomfortable feelings. Pretend the situation wasn't that serious. Deny that it ever happened. Exaggerate. Pretend it's somebody else's fault. Blame other people for it happening. Get a bunch of other people to co-sign my bullshit so I don't have to take responsibility for it. Say I was high at the time and so it's not really an issue. These are not ways to cope exactly. They're ways to kind of lie to myself and not have to deal with the reality that I'm creating. Does she kind of skirt reality a little bit and kind of play fast and loose with the truth to make herself feel better, or to feel that maybe some of her actions are more noble or less dingy? Perhaps. She didn't invent that. And she's not the only person certainly on YouTube that does it, but also not in real life. And it's something I've done myself, and from time to time have to chin check myself with too, because it's an easy behavior to fall back into. It feels subconscious to me. It's not exclusive to people who deal with addiction to do those kind of things, but it is pretty prevalent, I think. So my hope for her going forward is that she embraces self-awareness. I hope that she second, third, fourth, and fifth guesses her relationship with Dom. I hope Karate Joe continues to ride her ass. I don't think there's anything wrong with her taking edibles. If I'm going to sit in judgment, as I am, I guess. But why waste it? why take that much? And if you're building a tolerance, knock it off, and then you won't have to spend so much. Edibles aren't free, and everything in Canada is more expensive. So, celebrate safely, celebrate responsibly, respect yourself, don't let a man disrespect you. And, I guess we'll see you next week after another week of lives. So thank you all for watching. Please do subscribe, hit the notification bell on your way out so you can get the alerts when we have new videos and when we go live. You can follow Mark and I on Facebook at SmokeySteveAndMarc, or on Instagram at SmokeySteveAndMarc, or on Twitter at SmokeySteveA. Our email address and contact info is listed below as well. Thank you again, and we will catch up with y'all tomorrow. We're going live at 6 p.m. Eastern, so we'll see you there. Thanks for watching. Bye!